Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a neat new quadcopter for you to see today. This is the MJX Bugs 3, B-U-G-S 3. Now, what is the Bugs 3? If you look at it, you can say to yourself, well, that's a brushless quadcopter, and it has a camera mount, so it's a brushless camera quadcopter. What this is it's another entry into the lowest cost, I'm not going to say low cost because they're all over $100, but the lowest cost brushless motors quadcopters. There are others out there like the XKX251 and the JJRC X1. Those two are primarily sports quadcopters, but the only other brushless quadcopter out there that is primarily intended for being a camera carrier has been the Buyang Toys X16. So this is MJX's entry into that market. Another competitor would be although it's a brush quadcopter, is the SJCAM X8, X8C. But that's a brushed motor quadcopter, although it has similar capabilities to what this can do. You know, the X8C can lift the camera, but this one, again, has the benefits of more powerful brushless motors. Now, with that in mind, you know, brushless motors add significant cost to a quadcopter, along with the ESCs that got to go with them. So, yeah, you know, this is not going to be the same cost as an X8C. You know, it's going to be around the $100 range, a little bit over 100. But with that in mind, there are benefits to having brushless motors. They're much more reliable and, again, much more powerful. Let's go over other features of this quadcopter. It comes with a somewhat proprietary 7.4 volt 1800 milliampere hour battery, but it has an XT30 connector, one of these small XT30 connectors, but you can fit other batteries in there if you can find an adapter to use XT30 or with 7.4 volt batteries that can accommodate an XT30 plug. They'll fit in here. I believe it's 35 millimeters by 115 millimeters length. Most, you know, I've already stuck in the heck batteries did I use in here? It wasn't Tarantula. Hold on, I'll remember in a second here. Here, I got one of them right here. This is a K70C battery. That fits in there very nicely. And the K70C battery is a 2,000 milliampere hour battery. Unfortunately, it does not come with, you know, an XT30 adapter. So you're going to have to come up with an adapter plug or change the plugs on K70C batteries if you want to use them. I even tried to fit in the battery from the H501C and S. That fits in there also very nicely, although you might need to put a little bit of stuffing in there to keep it from bouncing around. But I'm sure that MJX will be coming out with spare batteries for this, but in the interim there are other batteries that will fit in there, 7.4 volt batteries that will easily fit into this battery compartment. So don't say this is entirely proprietary battery, as it is not. You know, all you need is an XT connector 7.4 volt battery, and that'll power this quadcopter, if it has a sufficient milliampere hour power, that is. It is a 30C battery, and it is a high capacity battery, and with that in mind, this is supposed to power this quadcopter for up to 19 minutes of flight time. Now, that's a significant amount of flight time for a large brushless quadcopter with a 7.4 volt battery. We'll see if that's true today. I'm going to try to fly it until its battery starts to run out. Although I will be flying quite aggressively, and also this is the first time I've charged this battery, so it might not actually give us the full 19 minutes. I doubt that it's going to give us the full 19 minutes of flight time. Let's look at other things on this quadcopter. It comes with a battery or a camera mount. Okay, it doesn't come with a camera, but it does come with a camera mount. And this camera mount is sized for GoPro style cameras, up to and including sizes such as this SJCAM SJ4000. Now the SJCAMs are usually a little bit bigger than GoPros, but this will even accommodate them. You know, so GoPros, Xiaomi's, they'll all fit in there. All the GoPro style cameras, it fit in there very nicely. But one thing, there is no hole on the top of these battery holders to turn on your cameras. You know, hit the shutter button of your camera. So you will have to, as I did here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I took a hot paper clip and I made my own hole. I went in there and melted a hole in there so that I can turn on the camera shutter, hit the shutter button on the camera to start the recording of the video. So keep that in mind, folks. Let's see, I went over all that features. Let's talk about the controller, because this controller is supposed to give you 300 to 500 meters range. That's a lot of range for a toy grade quadcopter. You know, even though it's a brush quadcopter, it's still a toy grade. But 300 to 500 meters, if that's true, that's, you know, pretty darn good. That's similar to what the X8C can do. On top of that, this controller has a built-in beeper warning system. It's supposed to warn you when the battery is getting low on the quadcopter, so you can bring it in and land it immediately. And it also warns you if you're flying out of range of the controller. If the signal starts to get weak, this will detect. That also transmits a signal back to this, telling this controller what its battery level is, along with what the strength of the received signal is. So if you're flying a little too far away and the signal's starting to get weak and this quadcopter's having a hard time hearing the signal from this, this will also beep to alert you to immediately turn toward you and bring the quadcopter back. Other things, the buttons on this quadcopter, this is for your rates button, for low and high rate, and if you hold it down, you can turn off the lights on the quadcopter. This is a bind button and a lock and locks button. For the first time, or if the normally this transmitter automatically binds to the quadcopter. You turn on the transmitter and then you turn on the quadcopter and it automatically binds to it. But if it doesn't, you just hold this button down here while turning on the transmitter, and that will put this into bind mode, and you just turn on the quadcopter and it will bind with the quadcopter if you lose bind. You don't need to do that each and every time. You just, if it does have a problem that first time you start it up and it doesn't bind, hold this button down while turning on the controller and then turn on the quadcopter and it will bind with the quadcopter. Additionally, once it is bound, you can start the motors or arm the motors by pressing a quick press of the button to unlock them and another press of the button to lock them. The button over here is for flips. You press this button and then tell it which direction to flip. And this button here is for the, I guess there is going to be a camera version of the Bugs 3, although mine's, you know, doesn't come with a camera, but they will also be supplying a camera, their own camera. And if you want to start a video and stop a video, you do it by pressing that button there. Other things, you can calibrate the controller by pushing this button up while turning on the transmitter and then moving your sticks around and then pressing it one more time, and that will calibrate the controller if it's out of sync with the quadcopter, if the quadcopter is not performing correctly to your inputs from the controller. And you can calibrate the gyros on the quadcopter by putting the quadcopter on a flat level surface and moving both sticks down and to the right until the lights blink on the quadcopter. So that's in effect. Let's go for a flight of the Bugs 3 and see how it performs. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is find a nice takeoff position, and I'm going to start over here. It's a little bit flatter than where I'm flying over there. And put the quadcopter on the ground on this flat level surface. Well, actually, before I do such, I'm going to turn my camera on, my SJCAM, and start the recording. Camera is recording. And next, we'll turn on the transmitter. Make sure the throttle's down. And next, we'll bind in this XT30 connector. And the positive is to the, make sure you put it in right. The red is to the left. So make sure the red wire is to the left. So plugging in this XT30 connector. I got that right. And you hear the beep from the transmitter. That means we're bound. Okay, I got the camera rolling. We are ready to go. Starting the motors. And take it to the air. First flight of the Bugs 3. Got a wind blowing that way. It's going into the wind. Bringing it back toward me. We're going to see it close up. How do you like my tie-dye for today? Flies nice and smooth. There's the Bugs 3. Actually, nice flyer. There's the wind blowing it by. Okay, while we got power on it, take it up a little higher. Let's try a flip. This isn't meant to be a... You got to hold the button down for the flips, but it does flips. Okay, I'm not interested in flips. I'm interested in a camera quadcopter. So let's send it out. Set it up higher first. We'll go high first. Coming up overhead. Going to higher rate. There's a wind up there. Oh, it easily fights that wind. Okay, I'm about close to 100 meters up. Showing the area. Flying very, very nicely, folks. Oh, you know what I haven't done yet? Come back down. Coming back down, folks. I'm about 200 meters out, but I don't want to go any farther right now because I haven't done something yet that I need to do before we go far. So coming back down. Now, you know, this is a cheap, relatively low-cost quadcopter, but I have to say I don't recommend this for going back to beginner. Oh no, that's expert. Beginner. I don't recommend this for beginner flyers. Beginner flyers, this doesn't have altitude hold for one thing, and the second thing is it's a brushless motor quadcopter, and they're just not for beginners. I'm sorry, folks. Okay, real quick. 1001, 1002, the motor's shut down if it completely loses signal from the quadcopter. Okay, and regain signal too. Okay. Okay, turning off, turning on. Okay. Oh, that's right. This is how you unlock it, not that way. Unlocking the motors, going back up again. So we don't have potential for flyaway. That's what I was doing there, folks. Okay, going to higher rate. Let's see how fast this thing can fly. We'll send it out across the desert. Now, flying like this, there's no way I'm going to get 19 minutes of flight time, but it's buzzing pretty darn fast, actually, folks. We'll go down this way now. This is sucking a lot of juice. Yeah, it's got a lot of power to it. Okay, back to camera. Being a camera bird. Let's fly out over the desert. Actually, I want to fly upwind if I can. Because this regains the signal, apparently. You know, when I turn the transmitter back on again, it quickly regained the signal from the transmitter. So, if you're going to fly distant, it's a good idea to fly upwind. The wind's that direction there. You're probably seeing shutter flicker from the sun's shadow from the propellers on the quadcopter blades, but that's fine for now. As soon as I turn it around, okay, we're about 200 meters out. As soon as I turn it around, I'm going to put it in hover there and turn it around. Make sure what direction I'm pointing. I want to point it toward myself, so turn it toward myself. And we're just going to let the wind blow it by us up there about 100 meters up. Oh, it's flying nicely, folks. While it's floating by us, I'm going to slowly rotate the camera so we can get a panorama of the area. As the wind blows it by. And again, you'll see that camera or flicker from the quadcopter's propeller blades on the lens of the camera. That's what that flicker is from the sun when you go by the sun. But that's pretty common for a lot of quadcopters. Okay, I'm a little bit high. I better start coming down now. Reducing throttle and pushing forward. Oh, I'm pointing at the sun right now. So all in all, this is actually very nice. Descending rapidly. Oh, I see a raven over there, but I'm not going to chase him. Somewhat of a nice flyer, folks. Very nice flyer. Again, for intermediates wishing to get their first camera bird, this would be good. But before you get one of these, you better know how to maintain orientation, because beginners just can't fly this. They don't know their orientation techniques. how to regain orientation from a moving quadcopter. You're going to need to know that. And for those of you that don't, there's a video of mine on YouTube that you can easily find. Just do a YouTube search for quadcopter orientation tips. You'll find it. Look for the Quadcopter 101 video. It's probably #1 in the search results. Oh, this is flying very nicely, folks. I still haven't heard that, you know, I've been flying out to about 200 meters. I don't want to go to 300 meters because it really gets hard to see. I'm chancing it wanting to do that. But 200 meters is more than sufficient. I haven't heard any beeps from this thing yet. So I don't know what the battery status is. They say 19 minutes of flight time. It might be true, it might not. We'll find out. Let's come down low and see if there's any blinking lights, because I've been flying this for a good period now. What's my dog barking at? I don't see anybody around. I keep my dog in the car there when I'm flying. Maybe she's getting mad because I'm too far away. Oh, she sees a car. You're right, she did see somebody. There's a car going by. I don't want to fly over that car. Yeah, it's flying very nicely. That's why I bring my dog. She alerts me when there's other people around out here in the desert. Oh, it's a nice flyer, folks. So, yeah, MJX has something here. I gotta say, this is rather nice. Okay, I'm good. 200 meters out again. Flying by. Coming down lower. Still going strong. Okay, let's do some low-level flying now. This is going to be 19 minutes of flight. Oh, here comes a raven. Let's go after him. Oh, yeah. Come back here, you. Come back here, Mr. Raven. He's running away. He knows better. I bought it. Okay. Battery power. Coming down. Landing immediately. There's my warning. Low battery. That is cool. Cool. I like that. All quadcopters should have that warning, you know, to tell you that you're at low battery. Okay, remember locking, quick press, or maybe it's a long press. Long press. Okay, that is cool. And finally, let's unplug the quadcopter, remove power from the quadcopter, and stopping the video. Video is stopped, and turning off my camera. So all in all, you know, I didn't get 19 minutes of flight time. Again, this is the first time I've used this battery. So you really, for LiPo batteries, you got to use them several times to get their full power potential out of them. But it did give me significant flight time. Again, I'll put it up on the screen how much flight time I got from the first use of this battery. It is an excellent flyer. I enjoyed it. It's a very good flyer. Hopefully it's a nice steady camera platform. We'll find out here shortly if there's a lot of jello on that or not, if you're going to need to modify this mount in any way. But overall, I kind of liked it. So again, this is the Bugs 3 from MJX. Very nice quadcopter. I hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101. Hold it up like this. Quadcopter 101. Let's get the sun shadow off it. Quadcopter 101, signing out.